Well, hello. I'm joined. I have company today, which is lovely. I wanted to come on today to talk about numerology, which is something that I think a lot of people are generally becoming more aware of, but don't necessarily always understand how it works, how you can use it, and really the kind of guidance and direction that it can give in life. And also, just to clarify the point that numerology is very, very different to other kinds of readings or angelic numbers and things like that you may have also been reading about. So, today we're really just going to talk about numerology and, in particular, the life path number, which is the main number that everybody has. And it really outlines the course of life for them. So my guest today is the lovely Ollie Burgess, who, I'll allow you to introduce yourself, Ollie. I'll stop talking, and you can explain how we know each other and what you're doing here.
Okay, well, thanks, Rachel. Hello, everyone. So my name's Ollie Burgess, and my company, we manage Rachel's YouTube channel for her. So myself, along with John Preston, we run her YouTube channel. But what we do is we really like to get to know our clients on a personal level and their business. And so when Rachel explained what it is that she does, having myself experienced a spiritual event that before the spiritual event, I was really closed down to the life of spirituality. But after having had a spiritual event, it opened my mind. And so when we met Rachel and we started working for her, I said, look, can you do me one of your spiritual services? Because I'm really interested in it, and it's a good thing for us to have that level of understanding, so that when we're running your channel for you, we know how to approach your clients, your audience. And so Rachel very, very kindly agreed to do a numerology reading for me, and well, I'll pass it back to you to just explain that a little bit, but I've agreed to read out the numerology reading because it's so fascinating and because it really does capture me. And because Rachel doesn't really know me as, on a personal level, other than through business, I was astounded at just how accurate a lot of it is. So I'll pass you back to Rachel, and then I'll read it for you.
Okay. Well, with numerology, numbers is part of everything we do in life, whether it be your phone number, whether it be your bank balance, whatever it is, that numbers are involved and they influence the things that we do and how we react to situations. But I think the one main kind of reading certainly the reading that I did for Ollie is based on what's called your life path number. And that is a reading taken from the date, the month, and the year of your birth. And we work the numbers out. So in a way, it's a little bit like an astrology reading, because that's based on, obviously, the time of your birth, where you were born, and where the various planets were at that point. And that can tell us a lot about life and the way life is going to evolve, or the challenges that we're likely to face. But for me, numerology can give us far more intricate details in terms of our strengths and our weaknesses, our characteristics, the kind of relationships we're likely to form, the sort of people we're most wanting to be surrounded with, who are the right people for us to have different kinds of relationships with as well. And it's crazy to think we can get all this information from a set of numbers, but there is more and more scientific evidence supporting this now, and the fact that Ollie, you and I have talked life moving in sort of 7-year blocks, and essentially every 7 years something in your life will undergo a change. And so what I actually wanted to do with this initial reading was to kind of get under the surface. Ollie's a bit like an onion. He's got lots of layers in there. So I wanted to get in and really find out what makes Ollie up as a character. So it was literally just taken from the details of his birth, so the date, the month, and the year. And by adding those numbers together, you basically want to get it down to a single digit. So there are essentially, it's 1 to 9 is really what your life path number is, and you will fall into one of those. There are some exceptions, which we've come across, which are master numbers, and I'll explain that a little bit more in a moment. But essentially, everybody will be either a single-digit number from 1 through 9, and each of those numbers have different characteristics and strengths and are more suited to different situations and jobs and careers. Now, Ollie is slightly different in the nicest possible sense, because Ollie's life path number is actually a master number. There are 3 master numbers in numerology, which is 11, 22, and 33. And they are considered the real strength numbers. They're kind of like a pyramid. And if you have a master number, if you're fortunate to have a master number in your life path, then it can really give us a lot more information about your strengths and your challenges that you're going to face. But if you can really understand the details that surround this, it gives you a lot more strength, if you like, to really understand some of the things that you are going to be looking at. So number 11, which is actually Ollie's number, it's a very visionary, creative kind of character. And if Ollie can really hone those skills and harness that in his life, then he will do far, far better with anything he wants to work on.
I hope that as an onion, I don't make you cry.
Only once a week.
So I just had a thought there, and I guess, so in the beginning I was saying that I had a spiritual event. And if that resonates with anyone that's watching this and they want to know about that spiritual event, I'm quite happy to share that, because although you might see a grown man cry, because it does bring tears to my eyes, but if any of your audience want to hear about that, then I'm quite happy to do another video with you, Rachel, and share it with your audience. I mean, it's miraculous. So if any of the audience do want to hear about it, if they comment in your comments section and just say they want to hear about it, then I'll be happy to do that. Because I suppose I was really shut down before that. I was really blinkered. I did not, I might be a typical certain type of person in that I was blinkered, shut down, didn't think that anything else was going on apart from our world, if you like. And it was only after having had that experience that it really opened my eyes, is the best way to put it. It opened my eyes to the possibility that there are things that are out there that we just don't understand, can't contemplate. And it's only when speaking to you, Rachel, and understanding more of what you do and your powers, as for want of a better word, your experience and what you're able to perform, that I have seen this numerology reading is the best thing, because it's so accurate in many ways. And there are things, as I was saying to you, I've had to go back over it and read it several times to understand the connotations of it. But I'm going to read it. I'm going to share it with your audience. And it's quite long. And let me say to your audience that it took Rachel several days to do it. It's not a reading like in the normal sense of your tarot cards or your oracle cards. It's not a reading like that. This takes some time to do, but as I understand it, it's a service you offer. So
yeah, absolutely.
So I'm going to crack on with this, but because it's quite lengthy, I'll make sure that I break, and if you want to sort of mention anything, then do so, Rachel. So I'll give you my full name. My full name's Oliver John Burgess, and alongside my date of birth, that was the only information that I gave to Rachel, and Rachel came back with this a couple of days later. And what she said, so now I'm reading. So if my eyes go off screen, that's why. So she said, "This is not even scratching the surface of what can be done here, but hopefully you will find this interesting, and very interesting. I did find it. So this is just a quick, informative reading of your unique numerology chart based on your name and date of birth. There are 5 elements that form your core numerology chart. These form the basis of everything in your life. They are your life path, birth number, soul urge, expression, and personality number. Your personal numbers from these 5 topics can uncover massive truths about your life, how others see you, and the unique opportunities that lay ahead of you. Your life path is the most important number in your chart, so let's start there. It reveals your most fulfilling journey through life and the major lessons you are here to learn. It highlights opportunities and challenges you will encounter, and your unique personality traits that will help you on this journey. Your life path is calculated by adding up the digits of your birth. And my number is number 11. You are surely already aware of how unique your life path is. A life path 11 can have some extreme and exciting effects. In numerology, 11 is a master number. You have unmatched intelligence. Well, I'm just going to say right there that my siblings, my brothers and my sisters might disagree with that. But unmatched intelligence, intuition, and energy that flows through you effortlessly. You inspire people without even trying, and new ideas, answers, and opportunities present themselves to you quickly and often by surprise. All of this amounts to a great capacity for invention and creation. Aware of it or not, you have deep psychic ability and a strong connection to spirit. You are a beacon of light, which many others are drawn to and follow it because of this. And they often ask you for your support, opinions, and direction. You can be a bit emotional, but this is only because you are highly charged and experience these strong psychic connections. Well, that's funny because, as I was saying earlier, this spiritual event that I had, whenever I recount it to anybody, even to my family, I well up, and I get these sort of, the hairs on the back of my neck stand up. I get covered in goosebumps, and I well up. I can't help it. So it might be quite a traumatic, if we do it, it might be quite a traumatic thing. But to share, it's so unbelievable that it can only have been a spiritual thing.
But when I talk about a spiritual awakening, Ollie, you're describing it. That is literally, I mean, a spiritual awakening can happen at different phases and it can be for different reasons. But what you experienced was a really sort of, I don't mean typical, that sounds condescending, but yours was almost like the perfect example of a spiritual awakening, albeit the circumstances were more traumatic than other people's might have been. But that's really what you went through, and you are the epitome of what I talk about when I refer to that situation happening.
Yeah. And I can't impress upon people enough that, I was one of these people that just was not open to the psychic world. I just, I was like, I completely shut it off. I was just, I just thought, oh, it's not true. It's a load of rubbish. That was me until I had this, and this event was a long time before I met Rachel. It was a long time ago, many years ago. I can go and work it out, but it was 10 plus years ago, more than that probably. And ever since I experienced that, my whole outlook has been completely different because, there's just, until I explain it to everyone, your audience, if that's what we do, if that's what people want, then it won't make any sense. But let me carry on with this for the time being. So you then said it can be hard for you to process all of the information you receive. Continue to allow yourself to be open to divine inspiration. It will serve you well. Guide others with your inspiration, and you will easily achieve your true life path calling. Your expression. This highlights your natural talents and abilities, some you probably don't even realize you have. Sometimes referred to as your destiny number, as it tells you a lot about you and what you are supposed to accomplish during your life. Your life path, as you now know, is calculated by your date of birth. Your expression is calculated using the letters of your full birth name. Each letter has a corresponding number, and these are woven together to form a complete picture of who you are and who you are meant to be. Your birth name is actually the blueprint of your potential. Your expression number is one of the most telling elements of your chart. It highlights the magic you bring to the world and the innate gifts you were born with, and predicts your ultimate potential. Your expression number is 1, which really isn't a great surprise. A natural leader who is assertive, ambitious, and answers the call of duty readily. I mean, that won't make sense to anyone else. To me, that makes total sense, and actually is more accurate than you could even possibly know, Rachel, because there are things that you don't know about me that actually completely relates to. Anyway, so determination and courage are among your strongest traits. Failure probably only really comes when you don't rely on your own abilities. You are bold, forthright, and opportunistic. You are incredibly confident, which sometimes rubs people up the wrong way. Those with lower self-esteem may see you as egotistical at first, but your strong loyalty and level-headedness makes you quick to diffuse tension in any situation. You encourage those around you to step up and succeed. You celebrate and appreciate the achievements of others. This will ensure you attract huge success in your life. I mean, again, absolutely true. I do celebrate and appreciate the achievements of my friends. You know, our company works within an industry, not just yours, Rachel, but we work within an industry that is what we do, is celebrate success of people. So then we move on to the soul urge number, or heart's desire, you've put in brackets. This is your inner self, your motivations, cravings, and urges. It reveals your true intentions behind your actions and decisions. This number shows what your soul needs to grow and evolve in love and relationships. We use the letters of your name again to conclude this number. But with the soul urge, we only look at the vowels in your name. Consonants are pronounced with sharp edges and have a definitive beginning and end. These represent your public personality and the traits you outwardly display. Vowels are pronounced from free-flowing breath and have softer edges representing the true and tender parts of you. Following your soul urge can transform your life in incredible ways, so should be listened to, even the uncomfortable bits. Your soul urge number is 1. A born leader with incredible talent and creativity, not afraid to take risks or venture into the unknown. You have a strong calling to be an entrepreneur, expert, or authority in your field. For sure, you will jump at any opportunity to get ahead, but you also remain honest and true to yourself. You dislike being micromanaged and refuse to be second fiddle to anyone. That dislike of being micromanaged could not be truer. I have never, ever liked to be micromanaged. You know, and like, there's plenty of people out there that I'm absolutely certain are in the same boat. You know what you know. You're good at what you do. You don't need micromanaging. And it's often people that themselves need micromanaging that try to micromanage others, right? So that hit the nail on the head. Anyway, so if you butt heads with others, it is because your soul urge is to be a leader, not someone who is easily carried along. Your determination and ambition mean little hurts you more than someone else taking credit for something you have done. Hold your confidence, don't lose sight of your vision, and you will achieve the status you desire. When it comes to relationships, you take charge and tend to be the one calling the shots. I'm not so sure that's accurate. Might be the case that might be what I'd like to do, but yeah, I soon learn who's
It just
boss.
let you think that, Ollie.
Yeah, exactly. I soon learn who's boss. So just make sure you don't come across too overbearing and uncompromising. You treasure your independence, so you are careful who you give your attention to. When you do open your heart, you love fiercely and loyally. An outgoing, optimistic, and general good guy. I don't think you are terribly cautious, instead quite adventurous. I am quite adventurous, actually. Adamant, persistent, and enthusiastic. Once you make up your mind, you don't change it. You are a man with great pride, strong principles, and don't procrastinate. You are a well-respected figure. You are in control of your life and have a knack for supporting others around you. People come to you for advice. You want to make sure people around you are happy, and you are careful not to step on toes unnecessarily. It is likely that you are either divorced or separated from a significant relationship that most likely involve children. I want to talk about that for a bit, because, and you know why I do, Rachel, because at the time you did this for me, which was, I think, was it a couple of weeks ago, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And I said to you, well, yeah, I am divorced, but you know, I can't have children. That's no secret. I'm not happy to say that, but it's not a secret, so I'll say it willingly. I'm unable to have children. So I came back to you, didn't I? And I said, well, that's completely wrong. But actually, having reread it a couple of times, it's become apparent that, you know, I have very unfortunately come out of a relationship a while ago where there was a child involved. Not my natural child. I'm unable to have children, as I say. But there was a young child involved. And actually, I suppose that could refer to that, couldn't it? And it was only when I was rereading it and kind of taking it in and looking at it from a different angle, you know, that I thought of it in that way. And I'll give you the reason that made me thinking of it in that way. And that is, I've got a Buddha, a little Buddha, not character, what's the word? A little Buddha sort of molding that I have on my terrace. Very foolishly, you know, very childishly, I'm sure. I look at Buddha when I've been to Las Vegas. I think, well, Buddha's going to bring me luck and, you know, bring me loads of winnings. That's my thought process. But actually, when I came back once with not a great deal of winnings, you know, I came back with, I wasn't down, but I wasn't up. I came back having spent out. And I thought to myself, literally a couple of days ago, I looked at Buddha and I thought, well, you didn't bring me much money. But actually, I reset my mind, because I suddenly thought, well, the lesson that Buddha is teaching me is not to frivolously waste my money. And that's the lesson that Buddha's teaching me. Don't waste. He's taught me a lesson by saying, don't waste your money. There you go. I've taught you a lesson. You've gone out there and gambled it and you've lost it all. And that's your lesson. Don't do it anymore. The point that I'm making is that it reset the way that I was thinking about things, and it made me go back to what you'd written and reread it in a different way, re-understand it in a different way.
And I think that's why it's so important for this style of reading to be written, because not only is there a huge amount of information, and I think what I probably didn't say to you is not everything is relevant to you at this exact moment in time. Some of it will be historical and some of it will be future. And it's for you to process that and take from it what you want, but not necessarily disregard something because initially it doesn't feel right. And as you've done, having the ability to go back and revisit it, and you will probably come back to this, you know, in X amount of months, years, whatever, and think, do you know what? That has happened, or I now understand that. Whereas if it was just a conversation between you and I, it would be like, gone.
Yeah.
You know, so take from it what you need now, but don't disregard the rest of it, because there will be a point to what is in there.
Yeah.
You just don't always know.
Yeah. And it's funny when you sort of reset your mindset.
Yeah.
I mean, we all know that your mindset is very powerful, right? So when you kind of reset it and recalculate it and actually look at it in a different way, it makes sense. Anyway, I will continue. I digress.
So weird, because although I wrote this, it's like I'm hearing it for the first time. I'm like, oh, did I say that? Hearing you read my words back is a very uncomfortable experience.
Actually, that's a good point. And I think this is something that we should get across to everyone, is that you said to me that everything is very personal. It's, you literally... you almost forget what you have said because it's personal to the receiver, and that you don't share it with anyone. And it's only because I've offered to share this that you're allowing me to share it, right?
Yeah, I mean, it was certainly never ever sent with the intention of ever being certainly not broadcast. I mean, you share it with who you want to. It's your information, but I mean, this was never in my head. And to be fair, I think it was very much your suggestion that we did this video just so that people could see what kind of things come out of it.
Yeah, so, it was my suggestion, because I was astonished at how accurate it was. So I thought, well, look, this is what your channel's all about. Let's allow others to at least be open to the idea. So anyway, I'll continue. Where did I get to? Okay, so in your younger years, looks in a potential partner were more of a priority for you. But now balance, harmony, and integrity of a person is what is most likely to turn your head. You can be somewhat unconventional as you are starting to come to terms with who you really are as a man. You are looking for a place where you can be the most confident and comfortable with yourself. You need to focus on your health and those people who are most important to you in life. You are incredibly loyal and will find the partnership you are seeking. You won't turn your back on your family or responsibilities, but I feel that at one point in your life, you would have chosen to shut yourself away from societal pressures. Totally true. And you wouldn't have known that, because this is stuff that is like 10 plus years ago, and I've only known you for a couple of years, if that. Mm-hmm. So yeah, you wouldn't have known that. With age, you have become more cynical, perhaps not as trusting of people in general. You tend to make quick and strong judgments based on your intuition. Well, I do. I wouldn't necessarily say that's me being cynical, or untrusting of others, but I do totally believe that you should go with. I believe in your gut and your intuition. Yeah. I totally.
I think you're much more in tune with that now than perhaps you were.
Yeah, I definitely am. Yeah, for sure. This strength will protect you from being burned, as you may have been in the past. You certainly don't have too many rough edges, and you aren't easily impressed by flashy people. Yeah. I'm not. You are good with people, numbers, and communication, and I feel your success has a lot to do with your determination. I don't think you were born rich. You aren't afraid of hard work, and I don't see you as a complainer. I most certainly wasn't born rich, and actually, I'm not rich now. But in monetary terms, I'm comfortable. But I'm rich in other ways. So I see that as a different meaning. I'm rich in other ways. Intellectual stimulation is important for you, though. You will always make enough money to cover the experiences and possessions you want in life. But I get the feeling at some point in your life, you felt like you lost everything and are having to build it back up. That couldn't be more true. But not in monetary terms. I didn't lose everything, but in actual health and experiences and stuff like that I went through. I lost everything, lost my career and all that sort of thing because of injuries. So very true. For sure, you have experienced failure in the past, but you have the ability to pick yourself up and continue to move forward. The last 3 years have made you especially strong. You are at your best when faced with new challenges. So when you do eventually retire, be careful not to fall into complacency. Continue to push yourself and strive for great things. Use your skills as a natural leader. If there are doors of opportunity in your life, you will be the one opening them. Now is the time to really start making plans for your future but keep an open mind, as I sense there may still be some unfinished business that needs resolving. I laugh because there is. It's bizarre. There is. So the next 3 to 4 years will be a lot better for you than the last 16. And that's kind of interesting. I kind of wanted to probe you a little bit on that because, yeah, things are phenomenal at the moment. Business growth we're growing from strength to strength. We've got a great business. That's all good. But where did the last 16 years come from? How did that come into the mix?
So at the start of this conversation, because that's kind of what this feels like, I sort of referenced the fact that life goes in 7-year cycles, and you are at the early stages of a new cycle for you. And what I see, and I think actually you and I were talking about it before we started recording, but for you, I feel like the last sort of 14, 16 years for you have been about you've had some bumps in the road, you've had some real setbacks, but it's actually shaped you into what you are. And you've been evolving through that time, and you've got stronger and you've got more self-assured, you know what you want more. And now you're in a position to sort of say, well, hey, this is me. I know what I'm good at. I know what I want. I think you've just got a newfound clarity in terms of you've learnt your lessons from what's been going on, and that shaped you and made you what you are now. And you've now got the opportunity to take that, you've got the ball in your hands, run with it. And if you do that and you learn from the lessons that you've had, then the next few years for you are going to be incredibly exciting.
Wicked.
Does that answer that?
Yeah, it kind of does. Yeah. Okay. Because then you go on to say, remember, you are in control of you and your own destiny. You are at the edge of becoming very successful. And I certainly feel that myself and John, our company, we are on that edge. So then you go on to say personality number. This is taken from the vowels in your name. Your personality type is 5. Fun-loving, zealous, and cheerful. That is why people love to be around you and spend time with you. A very positive trait that you have is that you are able to recover and cope with many difficulties that you face and adapt to changes very easily and quickly. Sort of yes and sort of no. I mean, I went through hell when I was retired and injured, and I went through hell. Hell is the only way to call it. I was don't like to say this really, but I was suicidal. I was. So I was in a really bad place. And to say that I coped with that and recovered quickly is entirely inaccurate, because I didn't. I was in a really, really bad place for many, many, many years. But actually, I think I'm reading this now in what I've learnt from that experience. So I have learnt to recover and cope with things a lot quicker than back in those days, back in the bad days. So that's how I read that. And of course, this is all down to your own interpretation, isn't it?
Yeah.
You're looking at it with your own eyes. I'm not looking at this with your eyes. I'm looking at it with my own eyes and thinking, yeah, well, firstly, I think, how are you able to know all of this information? That's the first thing, I think. And then the second thing I think is, well, yeah, it's quite accurate when you give it your own spin, your own sort of, you marry it up to what you have suffered, if you like, or what you have endured.
Absolutely.
Or what you have coped with, So I digress once again. Let's move on. Number 5 is considered a good number as a psychic number. So if your psychic number is 5, it brings you a lot of luck in life. People with driver number 5 are quick decision makers. They are also good planners and thinkers. Some of the best options for your professional life include artist, investigative reporter, musician, designer, entrepreneur, travel agent, as well as a job that looks after the welfare of others. In conclusion, if your life path number is 5, then know that you are here to learn about balance and cooperation. Challenges you could face or should be aware of up to the age of 60. Well, I don't even want to think about. Not long to go,
Ollie. Not long to
go. But your lust for power and money drive everything you do during this period of your life. Again, I'm not so sure of that. I mean, of course, like any entrepreneur, you want to make money. You want your business to be good and to provide a valuable service, which is what we do. Whether I lust after that, I don't think I do. But
from an outsider's point of view, I think you found your calling with what you're doing at the moment. You love what you're doing. And I think really that's where this is coming from, in that you've kind of found your path, if you like. And that is becoming, you love what you do. You're very good at it, and it shows that you love it. So therefore, at the moment, that's where your fixation, that for me is how I would interpret that.
Yeah, that is definitely. Yeah, I'm definitely driven. Yeah, definitely. And I think the conversations that we have and the ideas I sort of spring on you, and you're like, "What? How much work are you going to give me?" It's all because I want you to succeed as well. So, I agree with that. So then you go on to say you are so driven to succeed and to rise through the ranks, whether real or imagined, that it proves to be a detriment to your sense of self. I don't know what that means. Or I've not yet understood in my life what that means. But again, the fact that I've printed this out and I read it every now and again, and I put different meanings to what you've said, that might come to some sense of meaning at some point. In the eyes of the people in your life, you come across as more mechanical than human. I hope that's not true. I hope that's not true.
Ollie, you operate on like 3 hours sleep a night. That's not human.
No, this is true. I do need to have a better night's sleep. But, there's various reasons behind that. But, okay, the more this manifests, the less capable you become of connecting with your emotions. You have difficulty sensing your higher self. In your mind, you start to become a soulless entity, much like a machine. And I get what you're saying, because I work, because I'm up at all hours working at different times of the day. And this is because, with clients all around the world, that's what happens. But you're absolutely right. I do need to have much more of a better sleep pattern. You're right.
Okay.
And be less like a machine.
Oh, I'm really
I don't know how to take that.
I think you just set me a new assignment, maybe.
Maybe. Right, where am I? I've lost myself. Right, here we go. So with success comes the accessibility of material things. You succumb to their lure. You do things most people would consider unscrupulous. Rachel, what are you doing to me? I'm not sure. See that? I can't even twist my head to think, no, I can't even see that as anything to do with me. But hey, there you go. You will develop a reputation for being over-competitive and unfeeling. Indeed, you will have difficulty with things like compassion and empathy. I've never had difficulty with compassion and empathy ever. I think that's actually driven into me. But what I'm trying to say, what I want to get across, is the fact that most of what you have written, the great majority of it, is really accurate. And I can see complete synergy in who I am and what I am and how I do things. But there are things in there that don't resonate with me at all.
Do you know, sitting here, and this for me is a very new experience, sitting here listening to you read it back, my reflection on that latter part is it's more advice of things to look out for and to avoid, to make sure that your work doesn't become the center of everything. I feel sitting here now, if I was to interpret that now, I would say that's not here and now. That's a message for you to heed, to make sure as you go forward that you keep that balance of what's important and what else is important rather than just your work. That's now, as I'm listening to that, what I'm hearing.
Yeah. And when you say it like that, then I can see a synergy in its relevance, because if I continue, as you've pointed out, not only on this recording, but when we have conversations, as you've pointed out, that I'm always up at God knows what hour working, I can see how that would become less human and more machine-like. I certainly need to be going to bed at a reasonable time and getting up early. So I will take that on board before it starts to affect my health, because it will. So, yeah. In short, your lust for power will cause you to steamroll over other people's feelings and ignore their needs in favour of achieving and obtaining those things which you desire. Again, I'm guessing then that is a warning of what not to do. I mean, I don't do that anyway. I'm not that sort of person.
I'm pleased to hear it.
And those people that know me would know that. But yeah, I'll take that as a warning of what not to do. Your challenge will be to learn that there are things that are more important than accumulating stuff.
There you go, then.
There you go.
There you go.
There you go. So you will have to come face to face with the realization that he who dies with the most toys still dies, and that there are intangibles in life that have value that transcends that of material things. I take that as a warning, because I am Mr. Gadget. I have to have the latest gadget. I'm always buying the latest things. And, I look over on my side and I think it's just packed with the latest stuff that I never use. And so I need to start reining that side of me in. So that's a good one. In short, you will learn that there is such a thing as enough, and you will learn to be satisfied with the life you live. This is a long reading, a long numerology reading.
All right.
We're nearly finished. From 60 onwards, you are capable of growing and learning during this period without any particularly serious challenges. That isn't to say there will be none, but there will likely not be any that are overtly difficult or life-changing. Other lessons for you to consider: your achievement number. Your achievement number is number 1. 1 is the number of individuality and self-directed action, the number of innovation. If you have it as an achievement number, you need to learn to listen to your heart, which knows the difference between enjoying the infinite abundance of the universe and forcefully taking what you want. The challenge is achieving a state of balanced self-esteem. And when you let go of the ego-based desire to control situations and people, you'll find that your internal guidance system will work perfectly and attract what you want when you want it. The secret meaning of your name. The most powerful word in the universe is your own name. Your name is the first thing given to you at birth and is usually chosen specifically for you. Your name contains the power of choice. It can help you understand your actions and thus the results you want to achieve. When we aren't conscious of the power in your name, we can be forgiven for making too many decisions based on ideas and even opinions of others, sometimes in direct conflict with what is actually best for you. It can't be emphasized enough that the power to change your world and your reality lies in you. Through understanding the power in your name, you will acquire some keys to help you unlock your inner treasures and bring your real magic to the world. Your everyday name represents aspects of yourself that you choose to project to others. It sets your agenda for your interactions in the world at large. The most important thing to remember here is that it involves your choice as to what aspects of your personality you put on display and to who. In most cases, an everyday name is changed so that we seem more personable to others. Your everyday name number is 9. You are likely to be recognized as an independent spirit. Some may think you are obsessed with doing things your own way, while others may see you as so willing to help those in need that you might be taken advantage of. It is possible that you will be called upon to help others support their causes and goals, and people can have unrealistic expectations of you. Remain straightforward and don't hide behind what others may think of you. Your middle name represents the inner you. It is here that hidden talents can be revealed, and it can indicate the goals we should be working towards. It can uncover desires and motivations which sometimes puzzle you. Not only can it explain these desires, it can also show you how to honor them. It works closely with your intuition. It can also outline any areas of weakness you have. Understanding these can really give you the key to inner healing and release. Your middle name is associated with path 2. This number is influenced by planet Moon. Traits of number 2: these people are highly emotional, naturally affectionate, sensitive, caring, and loving. And by default, they take charge of helping, caring, guiding others in their organizations, schools, colleges that they are in. They often are seen guiding and helping others. And then finally, this last little bit, your surname represents the part of you already present when you were born. It can help identify major life lessons. It is directly related to societal energy that lays the groundwork for your beliefs and the way we act and behave as an adult. Your last name evokes your relationship with your family. It involves qualities that are passed through your family line and is an important factor when considering any relationships you develop with family members, especially if you're giving your last name to a partner. Your last name is less important to you as a person. Your first name is representative of your choices in life, and yours is number 2. The number 2 is considered a good number as a psychic number. So if your psychic number is 2, it brings you a lot of benefits. People with driver number 2 are peaceful and gentle. Their imaginative nature makes them a nature lover. And that is the end of my numerology reading, which, I thank you, Rachel, because obviously it took you a few days to do. I can see by how it's written that you are clearly talented and clearly talented in what you do. And I think that resonates in some of the other things that I've seen that your audience are yet to see in your channel. So yeah, I'm really grateful for that.
It's interesting. I had somebody actually just recently is pregnant and has a name in mind for their baby. They know the gender of their baby, and they had a name in mind for their baby, and they wanted to know how, as you've been talking about your name and the characteristic, I'm not going to mention, but they wanted to know if they chose that particular name for their baby, what was associated with that. They had 2 names in mind, and they weren't sure which one. And so they then came to me and sort of said, what would you tell us for this name or this name? And it's interesting how these abilities can really help people. Numerology, for example, can tell you when would be a good time to launch a business, when would be a good time to ask somebody on a date or to apply for a job or whatever. You can really use this to give you the optimum chances to develop in the way that you want to go. And I think that as people start to understand that more, then the world of numerology becomes so much more powerful and exciting.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I've seen, as I say, I've seen what you're doing, how your passion drives what you do, and your sort of belief in helping others in that way. And all I would say to your audience is, click the link in the description and go and see what Rachel's all about, and her friends, because they are up to a whole load of. I'm not allowed to say it. I'm sworn by by secrecy, but there's some exciting things coming up. So and if you guys and girls and the audience as a whole want to you want to see what spiritual awakening I had, I'll happily come on and have a chat with Rachel, and we'll put it on as another video. So comments below.
Thank you for being so open with that, Ollie. Obviously, that was very personal for you. It was never written with the intention of being shared quite so publicly. And so that means a lot that you were happy enough to do that. So thank you.
You're absolutely welcome. You're welcome. Speak to you soon.
Take care.
Take care.
Bye-bye. Bye.